This is fourth and final part of a four-part video series of interview or as technical assessment form or question answers that you might be encountering before preparing for interviews. Now, if you're jumping on this video first time, then I'll explain you a little bit, give you a little bit background. But if you've already seen part 1, 2, 3, then skip this intro and go straight to the question answers. So, for those if you're listening first time, give you context when you're applying for the interviews or AWS jobs or cloud jobs for that reason, most of these companies or these days now also do something called as technical assessment form, where they send you a set of questions, technical questions for them to answer. So that might be an environment where they lock down your PCs, everything, and you have to answer no internet access, or they might be doing it in front of in a Zoom call where you are answering them in front of them, and they will see whether you qualify, and then they will take you for actual interviews which will be more scenario based, more practical, what work you've done and so on. So this is to identify whether you actually this technical assessment is to identify whether you know the stuff or not before they bring you in front of an actual interviewer. So this is just to give context for that. So this video covers the final part of that, the question answers or technical assessment question answers which have been asked by a couple of our clients in past. If you have questions like these, or if you've been into preparing for interviews and need any help, or if you've appeared for the interviews and you got some interview questions that you want us to cover in this channel, then by all means please leave them under comment section, and also do let us know immediately after this video. Go back to part 1, 2, 3 and watch them as well. That should be in the playlist for you. Also let us know what more things do you want to see in this. Maybe it's a hands-on driven, or maybe some actual scenario based questions, or maybe some project work. Whatever you want us to cover, put them into the comment section as well. And with that, let's head on straight to the technical questions answers from a technical assessment form. By the way, this is Atul from Team K21Academy, and thanks for watching this. Let's look straight into the question answer section now.
In this video, let's start with the question number 26, as we have already discussed till 25th in the last video. And the 26th question is, can you recover a RAID 5 array if one of the disks fails? And here are the four options which we need to choose. Take a minute, pause this video and see which option is correct, and let's also discuss the answer along with this. And the first option says no, RAID 5 is not recoverable from a disk failure, but it is recoverable from block level failure. And the second option is same, that is no, RAID 5 does not offer data redundancy, but it increases performance. And then the third option is you can recover the RAID 5 if you have at least half of the devices. And then the fourth option is you can rebuild a single failed drive in RAID 5 using the parity information. So this option is correct, and let's also discuss why it is correct. When one disk in the RAID 5 array fails, the array status changes to degraded, but also it remains functional. Data from the failed disk can be recovered using the parity and also data available on the remaining disks. And if a hot spare disk is available, the controller recovers the data automatically. And if it is not available, then we can replace the failed disk and initiate a rebuilding process. That is why this fourth option is correct for our question. And the 27th question is, which utility will suit an organization best to migrate its data from one location to another and modify it during the migration process? Here, extract, transform, and load is a utility which is basically used to migrate data from the source database to the target database. And this tool has business rules to increase business quality and also check each rule if it is implemented properly or not. That is why we can say this option is correct. And also, this tool ensures that all live entities and their attributes are migrated to the correct destination in the target database only once and are working quickly. And this process that inquires the source data, checks this data according to the business rules, and transforms the data if needed, and loads the data into the target database. That's why we can say it will suit an organization best to migrate its data from one location to another. So the correct option here is extract, transform, and load. How could you save the time in long data migration for a large volume of data? And here, make like keep a note that we are migrating a long data and it is time consuming. So we need to choose a data migration method to save time and also migrate the large volume of data. For that, offline data transfer is an ideal method for the large volume of data. A terabyte or petabyte data migration from a home, enterprise, or OCI is done with the help of data transfer disk or data transfer appliance. So, offline data transfer is a simple and safe, and also it is a straightforward method. That is why we can prefer offline data transfer while transferring the large volume of data, and also if we want to save time we can use this method. The 29th question is, while migrating a database from an on-premise data center to the cloud, when would you prefer database mirroring to restore or backup the migration method? We have four options here. When the database requires synchronization replication and we don't need downtime, and the migration should happen without any downtime, and while using the NoSQL database in open source database instances. So the database mirroring is preferable during the migration from on-premise data centers to the cloud. This is because to increase the availability of databases and provide a mechanism to keep database available during the upgrade process. When we use the database mirroring is when we have a strict RTO and RPO requirements and we cannot afford delays between the primary and secondary database. That is why we use database mirroring, and the option which satisfies our answer is this one, when we don't need any downtime reduction and also the migration cutover. This option is correct here. Now, let's move to the next question, that is, what is the shortest recovery time objective approach when selecting a disaster recovery methods? As we all know that we have all these four recovery time objective methods, that is warm standby, backup and restore, hot standby, and pilot light. And we all know that a hot standby environment offers a super high availability systems that need to be five times better and faster. Whenever a data in their data centers of their VPC, the organizations have a complete mirror image of it in the cloud. 100% capacity is running at all of the times. If anything happens to your disaster recovery option, it will be up and running in the seconds. So this is the correct method that we can choose when we need a shortest recovery time objective. And the next question is, what is the common method preferred for database replication? As we all know that the CDC, change data capture, is the fastest and most common log replication method, and also it is a gold standard in data replication. That is why we can say uh, the common method preferred for database replication is change data capture. What is meant by CI/CD? CI/CD is nothing but continuous integration and continuous deployment or continuous delivery. So let's check the options here. It says cloud integration, cloud deployment, wrong. Customer information, customer data, continuous integration, continuous delivery, container integration, and cloud deployment. So all these three are wrong, and the third option is correct, which is continuous integration and continuous delivery. So CI/CD refers to this. And the next question is, how will you define test driven development? So here we have four options, that is developing and running an automated test before actual development of the functional code, ensure enough functional integration and performance testing other than unit testing, and then the possible code coverage with unit tests. The fourth option is production deployment requires passing all the tests. As we know, that test-driven development is an iterative approach which focuses on software development best practices in creating unit test cases before even developing the actual code. And the test-driven development combines programming, unit test creation, and also refactoring it. So we can say that before even the actual code is deployed, development of this code is ran and then it is checked. That is why we can say that this first option is the correct one for our question. The 34th question is, a company wants to start using native cloud services. Which migration method should the company use to migrate an application from its local center to the cloud, allowing for the modification of the existing application to comply with native cloud services? On-premise migration from the local data center to the cloud with modification of existing application needs a refactoring strategy. This is because to support the cloud environment better. So, refactoring involves architectural changes in the existing software code to adapt to the cloud native environment, and also it can save the cost and increase resilience for the cloud. That is why we can say refactoring is the best method. So, we can say this option is correct. And the 35th question is, how is vertical scaling different from horizontal scaling in scalable computer architecture? So the option here is, more servers are added to scale in vertical scaling. Vertical scaling adds more memory to existing servers. In horizontal scaling, more CPUs are added to existing servers. Vertical scaling and horizontal scaling both add more memory, but only vertical scaling adds more servers. In simple way, vertical scaling is nothing but adding more memory to the same instance, and horizontal is nothing but adding more servers. That is why, based on this small hint, we can choose the answer. The first one is, more servers are added to scale in vertical scaling. So this option is wrong, as in the vertical scaling we'll be adding the more memory. And the second option is, vertical scaling adds more memory to the existing servers. So this option is correct. Let's also see the other two options. In horizontal scaling, more CPUs are added to existing servers. No, this is wrong. More servers are added to the horizontal scaling. And in the vertical scaling and horizontal scaling, both add more memory, but only vertical scaling adds more servers. So this is totally opposite and it's wrong. We can say the second option is correct for our question. Which option is not a common pattern of architecting principle in scalable computing? So there are four options. One is producer, consumer, publisher, subscriber, decoupling, and disaster recovery. So, in software architecture, the producer consumer pattern works like the master and slave pattern to decouple the process that produce the consume data at different rates. Similarly, the publisher subscriber pattern works on the messaging pattern works where the sender sends the message to the specific receiver without even programming it, and decoupling in the architecture separates the front end from the back end but at the same time, so they are connected via an API. Decoupling also allows each layer to function independently while still interfacing with each other. So we can say these three are related to the software architecture and also in scalable computing, and disaster recovery will not come into picture with all these three. So we can say this option is not common pattern for architecturing principle in scalable computing. So we have covered till 36th question, and this is the end of the questions of technical skills.
Thank you so much for staying us till the end of this video, and I have something special to share with you. We have a free class on AWS, and the best part is it's available for everyone. All you have to do is just click on the link in the description below and you'll be redirected to this page. If you're just starting out, you can just type www.k21academy.com/AWS AWS 02 and click on enter. All the information which will be covered in the class is listed down here. What you have to do is you just have to select the date and provide the name and email ID and then the phone number, and you can click on register now. Then you'll be redirected to the thank you page. You can add this to your calendar as well, and I promise you this is something that you don't want to miss. So go ahead, click on the link in the description and step into the world where learning has no boundaries. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.